Look, Michael Carrick finally lost his cool, and honestly, we've been waiting for this. I have two massive updates on his unfiltered reaction to that Bournemouth draw, and you need to stay until the end because this changes everything for our season. We all felt that frustration watching the match and seeing the points slip away while we're fighting to hold that third spot in the table, but the boss didn't just stay quiet this time. He went straight for the officials and the system itself, and his reaction is spreading like wildfire through the fan base because it's exactly what we needed to hear. First, we have to talk about the absolute scandal regarding the inconsistency of the refereeing decisions that cost us 2 vital points, and then I'm diving into why Carrick's explosive comments mark a massive shift in his leadership style at Old Trafford. This isn't just about one game anymore, it's about how our club is being treated by the system. That draw against Bournemouth left a bitter taste in everyone's mouth, didn't it? We fought back, we showed heart, but we were fighting against more than just the 11 players on the other side. The main talking point that has Carrick and every single one of us fuming is the blatant contradiction in how the penalties were handled. We saw Matheus Cunha get a penalty for a 2-arm grab in the box, which was the right call, but then minutes later Amad Diallo is taken down in an almost identical fashion and the whistle stays silent. It's that exact lack of consistency that is killing the game right now. How can the same referee, Stuart Attwell, see one action as a foul and then ignore the exact same thing when it's our turn? Carrick pointed this out perfectly, calling it a huge moment that completely flipped the game. Instead of potentially going up and securing the win, the play continued, Bournemouth went down the other end and scored, and suddenly we were the ones chasing the game with a mountain to climb. It reflects a deeper issue where our momentum is being systematically broken by these baffling calls. This directly impacts our standing in the league because those 2 points would have kept us breathing down the necks of the top 2. Now we are left looking over our shoulder while still sitting in third. I want to know your thoughts on this right now. Do you think there's a genuine bias against us this season, or is it just pure incompetence from the officials? Drop a comment below because I'm reading everything. But as bad as the penalty decision was, the real story is how Carrick handled the aftermath, because he's finally taken the gloves off. Now this is where the video gets much more serious. We've grown used to Michael Carrick being the calm, composed figure on the touchline, almost like an extension of his playing days. But after this match, we saw a version of him that we haven't seen before. He dropped an absolute bombshell regarding what he called the mental chaos of the VAR system and the refereeing standards. He didn't use the usual corporate language or try to hide his feelings. He used words like astonishing, baffling, and straight up crazy to describe what he witnessed. This is a massive shift. It shows that he is no longer willing to play the nice guy role while our players are being let down on the pitch. By coming out and being this vocal, he's sending a clear message to the squad. I have your back and I will fight for this badge as much as you do. It changes the whole dynamic of his leadership.
We're seeing a boss who is protective, aggressive, and perfectly aligned with the frustration of the fans. The conflict here isn't just with one referee, it's a direct challenge to the PGMOL and the way they operate. Carrick specifically questioned how a decision can be too small to overturn just because the other team scored a few seconds later. He exposed the paradox in the referee's logic, stating that if the first one was a penalty, the second one absolutely had to be. It's a logical trap that the officials can't escape from, and by putting it out there so publicly, he's forcing the league to look at their own failures. This detail is the strongest part of his statement because it wasn't just an emotional outburst, it was a calculated takedown of the referee's performance. It shows a manager who is deeply engaged with every tactical and psychological nuance of the game. For us as fans, this is a massive moment of validation. We see the same things he sees, and having the manager say it out loud creates an us against the world mentality that can be incredibly powerful for a dressing room. It makes the bond between the team and the fans even stronger as we head into the business end of the season. This leads us to a much bigger question about where we go from here. When a manager of Carrick's reputation, someone who is generally respected for his level-headedness, uses terms like mental and crazy, it sends shockwaves through the league. We're moving into a phase where every single point is a battle, and having a leader who isn't afraid to call out injustice is vital.
We are sitting in third place, and while the performance with 10 men after that Harry Maguire red card was heroic, we shouldn't have been in that position to begin with if the game was managed fairly. The resilience shown by the boys, especially the way Bruno Fernandes led the charge and how the guys off the bench like the Fletcher brothers or Ugarte kept the structure, shows that the spirit is there. But spirit alone isn't enough when the system feels like it's working against you. Carrick's unfiltered moment isn't just a post-match rant, it's a rallying cry. It sets a new standard for how we expect to be treated and how we will respond to adversity. The fallout from this is going to be intense, and we need to be ready for it. You know, looking at the immediate fallout from this draw, there's a massive psychological shift happening in this squad right now. Usually, a late equalizer against a team like Bournemouth would feel like a defeat, but because of how Michael Carrick stood up for the boys, the energy around Old Trafford feels different. We are sitting in third place, and while we dropped 2 points that would have tightened our grip on the top two, the momentum hasn't actually stalled, it's just changed shape. We're seeing a team that knows it can play with 10 men and still dominate large portions of the game. That resilience is something we haven't always seen in recent years. When you have players like Matheus Cunha coming in and making an immediate impact, showing that hunger even when the officiating is working against us, it gives you massive hope for the rest of the season. In the short term, expect a very aggressive United side in the next few outings.
Carrick isn't the type to let this slide. He's going to use this sense of injustice to fuel the fire in the dressing room. We have Brian Mbeumo and Benjamin Šeško ready to lead the line, and with the creative spark of Bruno Fernandes, we have the tools to make sure we don't even leave it up to the referees next time. The goal is simple: be so dominant that a missed penalty doesn't matter. But in the medium term, we have to watch the table closely. Being in third is great, but the gap between us and the chasing pack is thin. We cannot afford to let these external factors become a recurring theme in our season. What we really need to observe from here on out is the response from the PGMOL. Will we get the classic "we apologise for the error" that gives us 0 points back, or will they double down and try to punish Carrick for his honesty? That's the real cliffhanger here. This is exactly what the United Watch is here for, to track every single twist in this journey. Make sure you hit that like button if you're standing with Carrick on this one, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the fallout, and let me know in the comments, is this the moment the season truly ignites for us? Glory, glory, Man United.